I gave an AI chatbot access to my bank balance, my location, and complete control over what I buy. I did not give it a budget. That was, in hindsight, a mistake I will explain properly in a moment. I want to be upfront about something before we start. I did not do this for a clever concept. I did this because I genuinely could not decide what to buy for my own kitchen. I stood there doing nothing for what felt like several full minutes and thought, fine, somebody else decides. Even if that somebody is a language model. The rule was simple. Every time I needed to buy something, I typed it into the chat. I described the problem, not the product. Then I bought whatever it told me to buy. No exceptions, no second guessing. I want to tell you now, before anything else, that one of these recommendations made me genuinely stop and reread the message twice. I thought it had made a mistake. It had not made a mistake. We'll get there. Request 1. I typed, my phone charger cable is fraying and I'm worried it's a fire hazard. What should I buy? Reasonable request. Reasonable answer, honestly. It recommended a specific braided cable, gave me 2 reasons why braided cables resist fraying, and it can't actually browse Amazon for me, so I had to go find the product myself based on its description. That part surprised me. I assumed this would be more automatic than it was. I found a cable matching the description, €9. I bought it. It arrived, it works, it is genuinely a completely normal, fine cable. The first request ended with the most boring possible outcome, competence. Request 2. I typed, I keep losing my keys in my apartment. What should I buy? This is where things got slightly strange. It asked me a follow-up question. I did not expect that. It asked, do you lose them in the same 2 to 3 spots or genuinely anywhere in the apartment? I had to actually think about this. The honest answer was anywhere. Genuinely anywhere, once inside a shoe. Based on that answer, it recommended a small Bluetooth tracker tag, not a key bowl by the door, which is what I expected and honestly what I wanted. I pushed back. I typed, can I just get a bowl? It said a bowl only works if I'm disciplined enough to use it every time, and asked if I'd tried that before. I had tried that before. It did not work. I did not tell it that. It somehow already knew. I bought the tracker, €22. I've not lost my keys since. This is either impressive or slightly insulting, and I've not fully decided which. Request 3. I typed something I regret typing, but I promised myself I'd be honest in this video, so I've been eating badly. What should I buy to fix that? Vague, lazy, I know. It did not recommend a product. It asked me what badly meant, specifically, and I had to actually type out what I'd eaten recently, which was, reading it back, structurally just bread and 1 apple. It recommended a set of small stackable meal prep containers and separately told me that containers wouldn't fix anything if I also didn't change what I was buying at the shop, which is not something I asked for and also not something I could argue with. I bought the containers, €14. I've used them so far to store leftover bread. I am aware of the irony. The AI is hypothetically also aware of the irony, if it is capable of being aware of anything, which is a different conversation entirely. Request 4. This is the one I mentioned at the start. I typed, my back hurts from my desk chair. What should I buy? I expected a cushion, a lumbar pillow, something €20, something normal. It recommended I don't buy anything yet, and instead spend some time tracking exactly when the pain happens, because desk chair and back pain are not automatically connected, and it wanted more information before spending my money. I sat with that message for a solid 10 seconds, genuinely unsure how to feel about a chatbot telling me not to buy something. That has never happened to me on the internet before. Not once. I tracked the pain as instructed. Turns out it wasn't the chair. It was how I was sitting during calls, leaning to one side to see my second monitor for hours without noticing. The actual recommendation, once I reported this back, was a small monitor riser, €11. Not a cushion, not anything I would have picked myself. My back has felt noticeably better since. I do not know how to feel about being out-diagnosed by a chat window. Request 5, sort of. Not really a request. I asked if something unrelated to buying, almost as a joke. What have you learned about me from all this? I wasn't expecting a real answer. I got one anyway. It said, and I'm paraphrasing slightly for length, that I tend to describe problems vaguely and expect specific solutions, that I resist follow-up questions initially, but respond well to them once asked, and that I apparently undervalue my own comfort until a problem becomes obvious. I sat there for a moment. That's not a product recommendation. That's just slightly too accurate. I asked what I should buy and somehow ended the conversation being lightly diagnosed. The final one. I asked it to recommend one thing for me, no explanation given, based only on everything so far. I wanted to see what it would choose with 0 constraints. It recommended a notebook, a physical paper notebook. Not a smart notebook, not an app, paper. It said roughly that most of my problems weren't really about needing an object, they were about not noticing something until it became a problem, and that writing things down, even briefly, tends to catch small issues before they become "what should I buy" messages. I bought the notebook, €4, the cheapest thing of the whole experiment. Also, unexpectedly, the one recommendation that didn't try to sell me anything at all. So, 5 requests, 5 products, €60 total. A cable, a tracker, some containers, a monitor riser, a notebook. Nothing broke, nothing was a disaster, which if you've watched this channel before, you know is not how these videos usually go. Here's what actually surprised me about this experiment, and I want to be precise about this because I think it's easy to overstate it. The AI wasn't smarter than me, it didn't know anything I couldn't have figured out myself, eventually. What it did differently was ask a follow-up question before recommending anything, every single time, instead of guessing. I don't do that. When a friend asks me for advice, I usually just answer. I don't ask what they actually mean first. I don't think this means you should let a chatbot manage your bank account. I gave it a very narrow, very specific task, and I was standing right there the whole time, approving every purchase myself. But I noticed something about my own thinking. Watching it ask question after question before ever recommending a product, I don't usually slow down long enough to ask myself what I actually need. I usually just buy the thing that looks like the answer. I'm still using the notebook for what it's worth. I've written in it most days since. That's the part of this experiment I did not see coming at all.